Your password is terrible, even if it's 30 characters, along with letters, numbers, special symbols, without birth dates or any meaningful words. And here's why. Passwords can be hacked. You can simply brute force guess them. Of course, this often requires significant computing power. The shorter and simpler the password, the easier it is to brute force or use a guesswork method. That's why a good password is in fact 30 characters long with special symbols and doesn't make any sense, even partially. Also, you can find out a password by accessing someone's gadget, either due to their carelessness or using manipulations with public unsecured Wi-Fi and hacking. Or you can just find a note where some careless person has written passwords for all sites. Of course, doing so is a big no-no. Moreover, for instance, there are website hacks, password managers, and even database breaches of various institutions like banks or delivery services, which might contain a lot more information than just passwords. Obviously, if you use the same password on different sites, the risk multiplies. And if someone somehow gets access to your email, they have almost complete control over all your accounts thanks to password recovery functionality. So, at the very least, you should use different passwords for email and everything else. How many times have you seen a browser notification that a password had been found in hacked databases? Hacking a password nowadays is really not that hard for professionals. But passwords, you see, are like cockroaches. No matter how many times the internet tries to replace them, it just doesn't seem to work out. Only 3 initiatives have made big IT giants add alternative authentication methods to the existing ones. We'll talk about them today, as well as why it's extremely important to use at least one of them in addition to your password. Hardware access keys. Well, this is simple. These are physical access keys, essentially on a USB flash drive. The essence of such keys lies in 2 things. The first is to confirm new devices when attempting to log in. For example, someone may try to access your Google account, and even with the login and password, they still won't be able to get in without the physical key. Of course, in reality, services often provide several two-factor authentication methods, and hardware keys can also store TOTP tokens, temporary authentication codes, which we'll discuss a bit later. This is their second purpose. And this is one of the most reliable ways to secure your most important accounts on the internet. There are 3 weak points in this solution. The first is the cost of the key. The more convenient they are, the more expensive. Also, the keys must have FIDO Alliance certification, which I assume contributes to the hefty prices. The third weak point is that you need 2 keys in case you lose one, and you should store them in different places. And if you lose both, there's a chance you won't be able to recover anything. The more keys you link to an account and the more places you store them in, the higher the risk of compromising your account. Losing such a key on the street isn't a big deal, as nobody there knows your login and password. But if you leave the keys at the office or home, occasionally a trusted individual who knows your login might decide to get back at you, extract information, or steal money, because keys can also be linked to crypto wallets. But despite these factors, physical access keys remain the most secure solution. They once were extremely inconvenient. You had to insert the key into a USB-A port, and without a computer or adapter, they were useless. But now there are keys for every taste. With USB-C, with Lightning and USB-C, with USB-A, even with NFC in addition to the physical port. They are water-resistant, shock-proof, and there are also keys with a fingerprint scanner, which practically eliminates any possibility of hacking you, unless you're under some kind of pressure. However, this option is mainly for large accounts, bloggers, and those for whom a hacked account can lead to significant losses of not only information but also money. For most people, hardware keys will seem like an extreme measure and too drastic a way to protect an account. What if you forget the key at home and need to log in? What if you lose it and the second key is in another city while you're on vacation? In general, what's safer is more inconvenient, and vice versa. Hence, there's a second method. One-time confirmation codes. Despite the popular belief, there are several variations of this, good ones and bad. Bad ones are all those linked to something that can be hacked. For instance, if the confirmation code comes to your email, that's bad. Arrives in an app on another phone, even worse. The account of that app may already be compromised. Comes via SMS, very bad. SIM cards can be cloned, SMS intercepted, the messages might be stored by the carrier, and it's not a problem for special services to access them. Not to mention that your expired SIM card can be annulled and the phone number resold. I bought a SIM card like this and I receive SMS about approved deposits, and the funny thing is that the bank doesn't care, and in essence I could access someone's account using this phone number and the forgot password function. It's your direct proof that using a phone number is risky. Moreover, if you use two phones or don't always have SMS access, it becomes inconvenient. Good confirmation codes, on the other hand, are so-called TOTP, which stands for Time-Based One-Time Passwords. You've probably heard of Google Authenticator at some point, right? Well, it's not a good app, typical of Google, but the technology itself is good. The app receives a special access key in the form of a QR code. It remembers the key and generates a 6-digit code every 30 seconds. Considering you need to input both the password and this code, which doesn't come via email or phone number but from an app, the chances of someone compromising your account diminish significantly. They'd need access to your device, which updates those codes every 30 seconds. Unlock it and additionally know your password and login. The security level of this is genuinely high, and even though these aren't physical keys, it's much safer than a mere password. Most of the tech giants support such codes. I have them set up for Facebook, Instagram, X, Twitter, email, etc. There are now apps that work with these keys very conveniently. Even though the safest solution is to store keys on one device, not synchronize with the cloud, and not copy it to other devices, a balance between security and convenience is often essential. For instance, I've entered all security codes into Apple's keychain. Now when I buy a new iPhone or any Apple device, I can access the application, the Apple keychain will prompt me for the login and password, and I can enter them using Face ID or Touch ID or even Apple ID password. And moreover, I can also automatically input that TOTP code using Face ID or Touch ID. This is insanely convenient, and I can be almost 100% sure that my account won't get hacked. The key, on the other hand, is to remove cell phone confirmation everywhere. It's not so simple with Android and Windows, but there's a solution. An incredibly cool app named 2FAS. Why is it better than, say, Google Authenticator? Well, you can make backups, either as a file or to Google Drive on Android or to iCloud on an iPhone. The full app is only available for these two operating systems, but here comes the second advantage, a browser extension. You can install it for all popular browsers. You log into a website, press a button, and a notification comes to your smartphone. You unlock it and the code is automatically entered into the browser field. This is very convenient too. Additionally, there's a feature to display the next token when the previous is close to expiring, for slow users like me. And customization options are far more in-depth. In short, I recommend it. It's safe, and if you lose your phone, passwords and TOTPs are stored in different apps, and you can also secure 2FAS with an additional password. TOTP in general is a good thing, but there's an even more convenient feature with an even higher level of security. Passkeys. This time, Apple took the initiative to replace the traditional password. Along with Google and Microsoft, Apple was one of the first to introduce support for passkeys. As a result, this standard isn't just a future concept. It's already in use on many websites. For instance, I use it for iCloud and Gmail, and every time it's exceptionally convenient. So, what exactly are passkeys and how do they work? A website generates two keys. One so-called public key, although only the specific site where you created the passkey knows it. It's like your username. The other is a private key, like your password. The difference from the traditional password is that you don't know what it's made of, you can't replicate or read it. This is a unique piece of information on your device, such as a smartphone. Servers don't know it either. The server sends a request that gets signed by your private key, generated by your passkey. This signature is transmitted to the server and is authenticated by the public key on the server's side. Therefore, any chance of deceiving you into revealing your password disappears because you simply don't know it and have no idea how to use it in a wrong way. Fraudsters cannot simulate your passkey's public key on websites, so they can't lure you to log in on fake website. Add this to the complete absence of login or email and password and you get a highly secure solution, almost at the level of a physical key. But a question arises: what to do if you have multiple devices requiring a passkey? If all your devices are from Apple, these passkeys synchronize across your devices via iCloud automatically, which might not be ideal from a security standpoint, but is fantastic for convenience. If you need to share them with colleagues for a work account, for instance, you can use AirDrop. If Apple isn't involved at all, websites usually allow multiple passkeys for different devices, including Android smartphones. In real life, it works like this. You create a passkey on a needed website, load it onto your smartphone, and now every time you log in from a new device, you go to the notification and confirm your identity using Face ID or fingerprint. As you can see, we already have three viable alternatives to traditional passwords. Passkeys or hardware keys essentially serve as replacements. However, I believe the ideal solution isn't just a replacement, but an addition, specifically two-factor authentication. After all, even if a malicious actor knows your password, they still need to obtain a one-time code. And if they steal a hardware key without a fingerprint, there's a good chance they won't be able to enter the password, especially if it's not stored in a password manager. In essence, the more layers of security you have during account login, the safer your account becomes. Please make sure to secure your main accounts on your most visited sites. Add TOTP or passkeys, even invest in hardware keys if the account is critical. Make your accounts more secure. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss out on new content. I'm off to make more videos from Slav with love. Bye. Pow.